It's 1970. You're standing at the edge of a drag strip somewhere in America. The crowd is buzzing. Everyone's eyes are locked on the Mustang, the Camaro, the Charger, the Legends. The cars everyone talks about. The cars on every poster. And then, from the far end of the staging area, something else pulls up. Something nobody recognizes. Something that looks completely out of place. The light drops, and that unknown car disappears down the strip before the icons even find second gear. Welcome back to Torque Society. Today we're counting down 10 forgotten muscle cars that were faster than the icons everyone remembers. And trust me, by the time we get to number 1, you're going to wonder how history got it this wrong. Let's go. 1978 Dodge Lil Red Express. Kicking off at number 10. And yes, before you say anything, this one is a truck. But hear us out. In 1978, Dodge built the Lil Red Express as part of its adult toys lineup, and this thing was no joke. Under that chrome stack hood sat a police spec 360 cubic inch V8, making 255 horsepower. Now 15.7 seconds in the quarter mile doesn't sound like much, until you realize that number made it the quickest American production vehicle of its model year. Faster than the Pontiac Trans Am, faster than anything Chevy had on the lot. And yes, faster than the Corvette, a truck. Beat the Corvette in 1978. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody remembered it either. That's exactly why it's on this list. 1971, Dodge Demon 340, number 9. And this one has one of the wildest stories on the list. Dodge debuted the Demon nameplate in 1971, slapping it onto a fastback Dart with a 340 cubic inch V8 under the hood. 275 horsepower, quarter mile in 14.4 seconds, quicker than big block legends like the 383 Roadrunner. A small block beating a big block in 1971. But here's the twist. People couldn't handle the name. The word demon was too much for parents, too much for church groups, too much for the general public. Sales tanked. By 1973, Dodge quietly renamed it the Dart Sport and buried the Demon name for decades. The performance was never the problem. The name was. A genuinely fast car, killed by controversy. Dodge eventually brought the Demon name back, and when they did, they made sure nobody would ever ignore it again. 1986 Buick Regal T-Type. Number 8, and this one is the definition of a sleeper. Everyone knows the Buick Grand National. Black, menacing, turbocharged, an 80s legend. But what most people don't know is that Buick also made the Regal T-Type. Same turbocharged V6, same 235 horsepower, same 14.3 second quarter mile, just in boring everyday colors. No black paint, no intimidating stance, just what looked like your grandfather's Buick sitting in a grocery store parking lot, capable of embarrassing Camaros and Mustangs at every stoplight. Because of those plain colors, nobody took it seriously. Nobody feared it. And that was exactly its superpower. If you find one today, buy it. Paint it the most forgettable color you can find, and watch what happens. 1970 Mercury Cyclone Spoiler 429 CJ. Number 6, and this is where the times start getting seriously quick. The 1970 Mercury Cyclone Spoiler. Not the prettiest car on this list, not the most exciting name, but under that hood sat the legendary 429 Corvette V8, 370 horsepower, and with the optional drag pack, this thing cleared the quarter mile in 13.99 seconds. Under 14. Gone. That kind of number put it ahead of muscle car names people actually remember and worship today. But because it wore a Mercury badge instead of a Ford one, it lived in complete obscurity. The Cyclone Spoiler was essentially a factory-built drag weapon, hiding inside a car nobody was paying attention to. The ultimate wolf in sheep's clothing, except the sheep wasn't even that good looking. 1973 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am SD455, number 5. And this one is special because of when it existed. By 1973, the muscle car era was basically dead. The oil crisis hit. Emissions regulations strangled engines. Performance numbers across the board collapsed. Nearly every muscle car was a shadow of what it used to be. And then there was the 1973 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am with the Super Duty 455. While everything else was getting slower, this car was out here running 13.5 seconds in the quarter mile, beating Mustangs of the same year that had become pale imitations of their former selves. Only around 4,000 were sold. In a year when muscle cars were dying, Pontiac quietly built one of the best driver's cars of the decade. Almost nobody noticed. Almost nobody bought one. And that is a genuine tragedy. 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1 455. Number 4. And Buick comes back swinging. The 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1. Buick had the audacity to market this car as the Hemi killer. Those are fighting words in any era. And you know what? They backed it up. The Stage 1 455 was conservatively rated at 360 horsepower, but came with a monstrous 510 pound-feet of torque. It cleared the quarter mile in 13.4 seconds, faster than most cars at the absolute peak of the horsepower wars, faster than a lot of the Mopars and Fords people put on pedestals today. But Buick couldn't sell it. The performance was undeniable. The badge just didn't carry the street credibility of a Dodge or a Chevy. So the GSX Stage 1 sat in the background, being quietly faster than everyone else, while the crowd cheered for cars it had already beaten. Sound familiar? 1964 Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt 427. We're in the top 3 now, and the numbers are getting violent. The 1964 Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt. Ford stripped this car down to nothing. Fiberglass panels everywhere, every unnecessary pound thrown out. The final weight? Just 3,200 pounds. Then they dropped the 427 cubic inch Fay V8 and rated it 430 horsepower, almost certainly making more. The result was an 11.8 second quarter mile machine. In 1964, while everyone was busy worshipping the first-gen Mustang that launched the same year, the Thunderbolt was out here running times the Mustang could only dream of. Ford only built 100 of them. Most people today have never heard of it. The Mustang got the posters. The Thunderbolt got the wins. History remembered the wrong car. 1965 Dodge / Plymouth A990 426 Hemi. Number 2. And we are now in territory that most cars from this era never reached. The 1965 Dodge and Plymouth A990 package. Chrysler engineers had one mission: own the quarter mile. So they took a coronet or Belvedere body, stripped out everything that wasn't essential, used lightweight parts wherever possible, and then crammed the full Ford's 26 race Hemi under the hood. Officially rated at 425 horsepower, a number nobody believed then or now. The result was an 11.1 second quarter mile car, straight from the factory floor. But here's what makes this car truly legendary. These A990s are credited as the first factory optioned cars to break the 10-second barrier. The 10-second barrier. And the 1960s, from the factory. While everyone remembers the 426 Hemi in the Charger or the Roadrunner, the A990 was running times those cars couldn't touch. Almost no one knows its name. Almost no one remembers what it did, and that might be the biggest crime on this entire list. 1963 Chevrolet Impala Z11 427. And here we are. Number 1. The car that started this whole conversation. The 1963 Chevrolet Impala Z11. Think about that year for a second. 1963. The muscle car era hadn't even properly begun yet. The Pontiac Gito, the car credited with starting it all, didn't arrive until 1964. And yet here was Chevy, already building a 427 cubic inch factory drag car that ran the quarter mile in 10.8 seconds. The first stock body car to break 120 miles per hour in the quarter. Before the horsepower wars officially started, the Z11 had already won them, officially rated at 430 horsepower, realistically closer to 510. So dominant that GM banned engines over 400 cubic inches in intermediate cars later that same year. They self-regulated because of their own car. Only 50 were ever built. While the world was busy setting up the race, the Z11 had already crossed the finish line, parked the car, and gone home. The most forgotten, most dominant factory muscle car ever built. Number 1. The 1963 Chevrolet Impala Z11. 10 cars, 10 stories. 10 times history looked the other way. The icons got the fame, but these machines did the work. If this list changed how you see the muscle car era, do us a favor and hit subscribe. Torque Society is where the forgotten ones finally get their moment. And if you think we missed a car that deserved a spot on this list, drop it in the comments. We might just build an entire video around it.